start this practice lying down in Shavasana, and we'll end at the end with a seated meditation. Okay, so you don't need anything today, but as always, feel free to modify, feel free to skip parts of the practice, feel free to do anything to make this practice really your own. Listening to the body as always. Come to lie down onto your mat. So you might want to lie all the way down, you might want to bring your feet on the ground, knees in. You might want to open the knees out, whatever feels best to you right now to start the practice. And wherever you are, bring the hands down on the ground beside you. So just taking a moment to feel the ground underneath your fingertips, underneath your hands. And just allowing the energy to drop down into the earth. And then you can either keep the hands here or you can bring them on your legs or on your belly, wherever it feels best to really allow your body to relax. Allowing the jaw to soften. Maybe the tongue to come away from the roof of the mouth. And just feeling this general sense of calm in your body. Feeling the body supported by the ground beneath. And then wherever you are, you can extend your legs straight on the ground, extend your arms above your head, and just start to stretch out your body. You might want to yawn, especially if it's in the morning. Taking any movement, any stretch that feel good to the body right now. And then eventually bringing the knees back into the chest. You're going to open the knees wide. And just slowly start to open, inner thighs, your hips. Just feeling into the body to start. Noticing where you can feel things and what you can feel. And then you might want to stay here, or you might want to come into happy baby pose. So usually this pose is practiced at the end of our yoga practice. So feel free to skip it if it's a bit too intense for the beginning. You might not feel open enough to be taking this pose, which is completely fine. Again, this is your practice, okay? I'm just giving you all the options because I know that we are all different, we all live in different bodies, and our needs are different from time to time, from day to day. Maybe if you come back to this practice another day, you might feel like changing things, Alright, so placing the hands at the back of the thighs, this time you're going to rock and roll over your spine a few times, massaging the spine. If this doesn't feel quite right in the body, just come straight to a seated position. Good, and then you can come to a seated position, rolling over your knees, coming into table position. Okay, let's keep waking up the spine from here. So finding your table position, knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. Let's inhale, drop the belly, open the chest forward, shoulders back. Big inhale and exhale as you round into your spine. Really feel the grounding of your hands. Push the hands into the ground. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you round, tucking the tailbone under, really feeling the stretch in the spine. Inhaling, really exaggerating the movements in these stretches to feel the stretch in the whole entire body, not just the back. And then coming back into your neutral table position. Bringing the big toes to touch, opening the knees wide. Sit back onto the heels, coming into child's pose. So this child's pose is actually going to be a bit more active than what we're used to. So you're going to come on your fingertips, reach the hands forward, keep the bum anchored on the heels. So you're feeling this energy from the base of the spine all the way up into the fingertips. Allowing the neck to come down to the ground. Alright, and then coming back into your table position. Straight away, coming into a twist. Inhale the right arm all the way up. Reach up. And exhale, reach your right hand under your left arm. Reach as far as you can to the left and then drop the shoulder and the head down to the ground. So here what you want to do is you want to press your right arm into the ground to allow your left shoulder to roll back. Okay, so you might want to keep your left hand in front of your face, or you might want to explore the pose a bit. So maybe extending the arm above the head, maybe coming into a half bind, grabbing your right thigh behind you. And then feel free to stay here, enjoy the stretch. Otherwise, if you want to challenge yourself a bit today, you might want to start to shift the weight onto your right leg and maybe start to extend the left leg long behind you, maybe even lifting it off the ground. So if you fall back, it doesn't matter, just come back into the pose, be playful. Finding that inner focus that allows us to stay in balance. And placing the knee back down onto the ground, placing the left hand next to the face again, push into the ground, inhale, open up, right arm all the way up, exhale, release down. Good. Alright, let's do the other side. Inhale, left arm all the way up, open up, and exhale. Reach the left arm under the right, reach, 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 and then release the shoulder and the head down to the ground. Alright, so here again, you know your options. You can keep the right hand here, you can extend the arm above the head, maybe coming into a half bind. Wherever you are, really trying to turn the chest up towards the sky. And then if you want to challenge yourself on this side as well, you can extend your right leg back and maybe lifting the right leg off the ground. Alright, good. If you fall, just come back into the pose. Let's try not to take ourselves too seriously these days, right? Placing the knee back down on the ground, place the right hand next to the face again, push into the ground, unravel, left arm all the way up, and then exhale as you release. Good. Bringing the hands slightly forward, tuck your toes under, lifting the bum all the way up into downward facing dog. Good, so this might be the first downward facing dog of the day, so walk it out, make it nice and juicy. You might want to bend one knee at a time. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side. Doing whatever feels good. Maybe stillness feels best to you right now, and that's perfectly fine. And then eventually coming into stillness, all of us, and finding your grounding. So see if you can press into the palms of the hands and into the tips of the fingers. So the whole entire hand is active, is pushing down, and this pushing down is what's allowing us to find extension. So we're finding that energy from the ground, we're taking the energy from the ground, from the earth, into the body. And same with the feet. So of course you can have your knees bent, okay, especially if you're feeling your spine is rounding slightly. Okay, but even if you have your knees bent, you can still feel the pull of the energy down. So the heels are reaching down towards the ground. Even if they don't touch, it doesn't matter. And if they do touch, maybe try to lift the toes off the ground so that you're really feeling the energy pulling down. So you're kind of creating this cycle of energy with your body and the earth. So the energy is coming up from the hands all the way up to the bum. And then moving all the way back down into the earth from the feet. So it's this constant exchange of energy with nature, with the ground, with the earth. We're giving and we're receiving. And then slowly walking the feet towards the hands. Take your time. Keeping the knees nice and soft. Just relax here for a moment. Relaxing the head. Again, doing whatever feels good to you. You might want to grab onto your elbows, maybe finding a bit of movement. And then bending the knees even deeper. Press into the feet so much that your spine has to start to lift up. So you're pressing into the feet, into the legs so much that you can start to feel the upper body lifting all the way up, shoulders and neck to come last. Good. Okay, so once you come up, again finding the energy in the feet, the energy in the legs, traveling all the way up. Lift the arms all the way up towards the sky. And just breathe here for a moment. Just feel into your body. On an inhale from the center, from the core, try to extend one more time, a little bit higher. Good, and then exhale, hands back down to the ground. Soften the knees, interlace your fingers behind your back. Inhale, open the chest up, straighten your arms as much as you can. And exhale, bend your knees, bring your belly onto your thighs. And allow the hands to come over the head. Breathe here. Opening the shoulders, allow the neck to completely relax. And then release the hands all the way down onto the ground. So here I really want you to have the palms down on the ground, even if that means that your knees are super bent for you to reach the ground. It's completely fine, it doesn't really matter. Okay, but really try to find the grounding in the hands as much as in the feet. So trying to spread the weight equally between the feet and the hands. And just take a moment to notice how it feels being on our hands and our feet, just like animals are. So animals are used to being on all fours. So it's quite interesting to observe how we feel in this position, because at the end of the day we are animals, you know. So just exploring here, maybe shifting the weight front to back, into the hands, into the feet. Really try to straighten your arms as much as you can, so you're pushing the hands down into the ground. Shifting the weight all the way into the hands. Start to lift your right foot off the ground, reach it all the way back. Bend your left knee and place your right foot at the back of the mat. So the toes are slightly open. Bring your hands all the way to the back of the mat as you sit onto your right heel. So readjust the pose a little bit if you need. We're into a side lunge, Skandasana. So here you want to have your left leg super active to support you. So the thighs should be firm and you have the toes pointing up. Okay? And then you can either be on the toes, if you can bring the heel down, feel free to do so. Okay, that's the pose actually with the heel down. I personally can't do it, so I have to stay on my toes. Okay? And then here, options, hands on the ground, or the hands in front of the heart, exploring the balance. Or if you want to come into the heart opening, you can start to extend the right arm in front of the right leg and open the left arm all the way up. So really finding this opening in the chest, staying mindful of this left leg, staying really active. If binding is in your practice, feel free to do so. So you're basically grabbing the hands behind you, but keeping the opening in the chest. And then wherever you are, releasing the pose, we're going to slide all the way back to the front, staying nice and low in the hips. You can have the hands down, or you can keep the arms lifted up using the legs. Coming all the way to the front into a lunge. Keep your right hand down, open the left arm all the way up into an easy twist. Big inhale here. And exhale, drop the right knee down to the ground. Open the right arm all the way up. So the left hand is either on the leg behind you or you can place it on the hip. Inhale, finding length, extend the right arm up, and exhale, maybe going a little bit deeper, bringing the hips down towards the ground. Wherever you are, be mindful of your center, staying active so that you're not going too deep into the lower back. You're just using your core. Big inhale together and exhale, hands back down onto the ground. You're going to walk the left foot out onto the outer edge of your mat into lizard pose. So here, make sure that you have your heel under your knee and your toes can be slightly pointing outwards. Okay. And then you can stay here on your hands. If you want more space, you can come on your fingertips. Just wherever you are, make sure your chest stays open, so we're avoiding rounding forward. Okay. You can also come on your forearms if you're very open today. Okay, doing whatever feels right, as always. And you can even intensify the stretch a little bit by lifting the right knee off the ground. Okay, so doing whatever feels good, exploring the pose. If there's any other variations that you're used to taking or you want to take, please feel free to do that. And then you can stay in your lizard pose, enjoying the stretch. It's already a really deep stretch, or you can go a little bit deeper by coming onto the knife edge of your left foot and maybe placing your left hand on your left thigh, pushing the knee out. Make sure that your chest is spiraling up. Alright, and then bringing the hands back down onto the ground. Lift the right knee off the ground. Now, find this grounding in your hand. Extend your arms super straight. So you're pushing so much into the hands that this space between the shoulder blades has to lift up towards the sky. So you're rounding into your upper back. Okay, your core is super active. So lifting the left foot off the ground, but keeping the knees stuck to the outer arm. Breathe here, use your core. Good. Let's go all the way back into a three-leg dog, lifting the left leg all the way up towards the sky. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, coming into plank pose. Feel free to release the left foot down, keeping it lifted. Inhale into plank. And exhale, take your vinyasa. You might want to keep the leg lifted or release it. Inhale as you open here. And exhale as you push back all the way into downward facing dog. Slowly start to walk the feet towards the hands. Relaxing the head down. We're going to take 3 halfway lifts, placing the hands on the legs, extending the spine. Inhale, finding that extension in the spine and the core is slightly active. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, keeping the knees as bent as you need, extending the spine forward, heart forward. Exhale, relax. One more, inhale, extend. And exhale, release everything down. Again, bend your knees as much as you need. Ground the hands onto the ground. Ground the hands onto the ground. That's very creative. But you know what I mean. So placing the hands into the ground. And again, finding your center here. So shifting the weight front to back, into the hands, into the feet. And trying to even it out. Alright, and then shifting the weight into the hands. Start to become light into your feet and lift the left foot all the way up. Extend the left leg back, all the way back. The toes are slightly open out. Slide the hands all the way to the back of the mat into your side lunge, Skandasana. So readjust if you need a little bit here. Alright, so your right leg is super active. Again, your toes are pointing up. You know your options. You can keep the hands on the ground, you can have them just in front of the heart, or if you want to come into this heart opening, extending the left arm in front of the leg and opening the right arm all the way up. Feel free to take a bind if that's in your practice. And then releasing the hands down. Let's slide all the way back to the front. Stay nice and low in your legs. Come back into a lunge and then walk your right foot out on the outer edge of your mat into lizard pose. Again, be mindful to have your ankle just under your knee so that the knee doesn't go past the toes. Okay? And again, take your option, keeping the knee lifted or down, staying on the hands, coming on the forearms, whatever feels best. Just be mindful of your chest. Try to keep the heart shining forwards. Okay, even if you're in your forearms, you should be able to keep that nice extension in the chest. And then feel free to stay here enjoying this deep stretch. Otherwise, if you want to go a bit deeper into the hips, you can start to open the right knee out, coming onto the edge of your right foot and maybe placing the hand on the thigh to open up. So you're twisting the spine, you're opening the hips, you're opening the left hip flexors, lots of things happening here. Breathe. Just be mindful to stay lifted in your pelvic floor. So you're not completely collapsing down, but you're staying slightly lifted and supported in your pelvic floor, in your core. And then placing the hands back down onto the ground. Find the grounding in your hands. So palms, fingertips, everything is active. You're pushing into the ground, the upper back is rounding. And push so much, activate the core so much that when you lift your right foot off the ground, you stay lifted. Breathe here. Extend your right leg all the way back up, 3-leg dog. Inhale here. Exhale, come forwards into plank. Feel free to release the foot down into the ground. Otherwise, take an inhale in your high plank. And exhale, drop down, chaturanga, or all the way down, whatever feels best. Cobra or up dog, inhale. And exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. One more time, inhale. And release. Good, okay, let's release the knees all the way down to the ground. Shift your feet to one side and sit back down onto your bum. Okay, so here you're going to open the knees wide, the feet wide, sorry. And you're just going to drop your knees to one side. Okay, so let's say we drop to the right. So dropping the knees to the right. Okay. Just staying upright for a moment, just feeling into the sensation in your left hip. So we're not very used to internally rotating our hips. So this might feel a little bit weird. Just notice what you feel. And then you can place your right hand behind you. You're going to come into a nice heart opener, lifting the hips off the ground, reaching the left arm all the way back, trying to push your hips forwards, relax your head back if your neck is okay. This should feel quite nice, especially in the front of the body, in the hip flexors. And then release all the way down. Good, we're going to go straight to the other side, coming back to center and dropping your knees to the left this time. So again, notice what you can feel in this right hip. Maybe you feel differently than you felt on the other side. That's very often the case, so just notice. And then placing the left hand behind you, lifting the bum off the ground, pushing the hips forward, heart up, reaching back with your right arm, relaxing the neck, and then coming all the way back down onto the ground. Good. Placing the feet on the mat, this time hip width distance apart, placing the hands behind you under the shoulders, fingers pointing towards your bum, or you might want to have the fingers slightly pointing out. See how you feel. We're going to take 3 reverse table position. So inhale, lift your hips all the way up, and exhale here. Now, can you activate your bum? This will allow you to lift a little bit higher. Stay active in the core as well, and maybe release the head back. Find the grounding. Can you equally distribute the weight into the hands and into the feet? Let's take a big inhale together, lift up, and exhale, lower down. Good, we'll take one more like this. Well, 2 more. And I'll give you another option. You can stay in this position, or if you want, you can take reverse plank position, which is a bit more challenging. Reverse plank, you want to have your legs extended, feet together, and same thing. Inhale, lifting the hips up, exhale here, active in the legs, active in the bum. If you want, you can release the head back. Try to lengthen the tailbone towards the heels, activating through the core. Big inhale, lift up, exhale, release down. Good, we'll do one more, your choice. You can stay in reverse plank, or you can stay in reverse table position, okay? So one more, lifting up, Finding the grounding in the heels, in the feet, in the hands, fingertips. Pushing out of the ground, lifting up. I know this is challenging. We're not used to coming into these weird postures, which is why it's good for us. Activate your bum and lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down. Very nice. Good. Shake off the wrists. Alright, we're going to come into forward fold from here. So extend your legs straight in front of you. You might want to remove the flesh from under the butt so that you really feel your sit bones grounded down. Make sure your legs are nice and active here. We're going to come into an active stretch. So there'll be no grabbing, no pulling. We're really just using our muscles to bring us into the stretch. Okay, so we can't cheat. So interlacing the fingers, pushing the palms forward and up. Now, from here, make sure that your core is nice and active. So again, making sure that the ribs don't start to open forward. Keep the ribs in towards the spine, so you're very active in the core. Inhale as you lift up, find extension, find space. Exhale, keeping the space, try to go as forward as you can, keeping the spine nice and long. Move as forward as you can, use your muscles, okay? Use your core muscles to pull you forward, okay? You're pushing the legs into the ground and you're trying to lengthen the sit bones back. This will help you to tilt the pelvis. Okay, reaching, 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 reaching as much as you can. And when you can't anymore, you can relax the arms on each side of the legs, but keeping the hands off the legs. And noticing what you can feel. Maybe as you breathe, you start to feel like you're able to go a bit deeper. Place your feet back on the ground and just shift your knees from side to side. So we're just releasing any tension that we created with those stretches. And now we're going to come into more passive stretch. So we can really allow ourselves to ease into it. Okay, so coming into your butterfly pose. So placing the hands behind you, try to bring your feet closer to you, okay, using your hands. And you might feel like this is enough of a stretch with your hands behind you, in which case I invite you to stay here. Hello. Okay, and otherwise if you want to go a bit deeper, you can grab onto your feet and start to lower the belly down towards the feet. So as much as you can, try to keep the extension in the spine as you lower down. And then once you reach your limit, maybe you want to allow yourself to fold. So allowing the shoulders to roll forward, allowing the neck to relax, and giving your body in to gravity. If you're ready, you can start to come back up, being really mindful in those transitions. And from here, you're going to find a comfortable seat. So, whatever that means to you, you might want to elevate your hips slightly by grabbing a cushion or a blanket or something to sit on. When you feel ready, you can close your eyes. You might want to grab the flesh from under the bum, move it out of the way to feel the grounding in your sit bones. So you're feeling the base of your spine, your sit bones, your pelvis, really anchored into the ground. Just noticing the body in this position. And feeling the lower body into the ground as if you somehow had roots growing from your pelvis all the way down to the center of the earth. So you're super still, you're super grounded and present through this cord that links your physical body to the earth. And that is basically gravity when you think about it. It's what keeps us on the ground, keeps us connected. And then apart from the earth, apart from what's underneath you, how can you feel a little bit more connected to what's around you? The people, the nature, the birds, the wind. Taking all that in. And just noticing that you are not separate from all of this. You are 100% a part of the natural world. You are the birds, you are the trees, you are the stars, the mountains. You are the universe, the people. Take a deep breath in together through the nose. And just let this go out of the mouth. Open your arms on each side of the body. Inhale this time, lift your arms all the way up, gather the energy up. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart and then bow yourself forward to the ground, to the natural world, to every being, every soul, every living thing. And when you feel ready, you can come back up and slowly open your eyes. Namaste everybody, thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed the class.